Welcome to the podcast from Headhunters Northwest. Headhunters Northwest. Specialized recruiting, specialized approach, where we take you behind the scenes into our customers' businesses. For over 20 years, Headhunters Northwest has served the global defense, small arms, and shooting sectors worldwide. Listen in as we discuss the inner workings of our USA and international customers. Headhunters Northwest, finding you the best heads for business.
Welcome to the Headhunters Northwest podcast. I'm Shaylene Keiner, the president of Headhunters Northwest, and this is the last podcast for us in 2024. This is a really special podcast because we're actually compiling a lot of clips and highlights from 2024 guests. So if you've not ever watched our videos on YouTube or on our website, I would encourage you might want to take a look at this because you're going to see 1 to 2 minute clips of a bunch of people from a bunch of our podcasts. I wish we could have gotten everyone in, but we just picked some that were representative of our industry. So we cover the global defense, small arms, and shooting sectors. And these folks, all of them serve all of those industries in one way or another. I hope you enjoy the clip. I love it. Thanks.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, people come into the industry and they think, oh, this is guns and ammo and hunting and cool clothes and knives and, and this is really fun. It's like, well, yes, it is. And as I said earlier, I think it beats selling paint at Walmart.
Yeah.
But it's still a business, and you still have to have a work ethic and you still have to be savvy. And all of that is critical. And I see a lot of people come into the industry with their eyes closed. Mm-hmm. But the ones that come in with their eyes open, I think in today's headlong helter-skelter rush to capture digital, subscribers, is that I think we forget that it's still people and it's still an appreciation and a love for the outdoors and good guns and do the right thing and be kind, And I think all of the people who I have experience with in the industry who did all those things or who do all those things are almost invariably successful.
I've got to give credit. We've got a great team of folks at the office. I don't know how many manufacturing facilities have the folks who are hourly show up 30 minutes early just to talk, catch up, and make sure they're ready to have all the equipment running, at top speed at 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just a great culture. Great folks. Great team. Let me say first, we always hire veterans whenever possible. That is number one for us. We will always support veterans or XLE. That's very important to us. I think most of the time, the folks like the fact that we have good work environment. We pay a very good wage. And again, the culture. I mean, everybody's great. I've got to keep the Army guys away from the Marines every once in a while, but I've got to play referee between those guys, but they're always having fun with each other. So we have, again, great team. Great team.
That's great. When you're looking for people, are there any resume tips or interview tips you can give them?
Yeah. Well, I would say, don't try to have your resume be a book. Some people want to put everything that they've done. Try to keep your resume to 2 pages.
Good advice.
And keep it succinct. So highlight those big things that you've done instead of writing paragraphs upon paragraphs so that it's easier for those recruiting and those hiring managers to be able to go through and see the top things that you have. Call out those skills. If it's in the CNC area, name those certifications and put what machines that you work on instead of, I'm a senior level CNC operator, put the machine if it's an Okuma or Haas or whatever you've worked on so that it's easier for the person that's reading your resume to be able to understand what you've done. And then in the interviews, just be honest and transparent, but just be very crisp and clear with what you've done.
One of the big pieces of STAG, which I absolutely fell in love with from the marketing and branding side, is we never are going to compromise or give up the left-handed customer, or the left eye dominant customer. So that started in Connecticut where they're making right-handed firearms as well as left-handed firearms. So left eject and right eject. I actually have a couple
That is really cool.
So the left-handed customer is very big. And then we also found, they were calling it a left-handed gun. And we started talking about, it's really a left eject gun, because if you've been around people who are shooting for a long, long time, and you can find this out at your house if you don't know, you literally just look at something on the wall, hold up your hands like this, and then pull your hands towards your eye. And that eye is going to tell you what your dominant eye is. So when you give somebody, I'm sure we've all seen it when you go to the range, somebody gets on a rifle and they're trying to like do this kind of thing where they're telling the other eye on the rifle. So giving somebody a left-handed gun that actually makes them fit and feel. And, for a left-handed shooter, they don't have all that brass and debris and everything going into their face. So we have left-handed versions of almost every one of our firearms.
So in the future, it's going to be more competitive. So, you as a candidate, if you can bring some value add, something to increase revenues, decrease costs, improve the culture, and outperform, the competition, that's what the industry needs. It's a little different with this industry because of the knowledge of the people you're working with. And it's like, it's a consumer product. Yeah. So, your resume will deal with your technical skills, but it comes to the interview is really where I found some separation. Some people show up prepared. They've done their research. They know who Camphor is. They know who my client is. They understand the industry. This actually probably the big thing that I see and I get frustrated by is when I interview someone, regardless of what the position's for, and they tell, and I may ask a question. So how would you deal with this? How would you increase sales? And they would explain to me how they've done everything in the past at the last company, which doesn't necessarily apply to the company that we're working for now. Right.
Right.
So the key to me, I talk to people a lot is about, you've got to understand the situation that's going on.
A lot of us say if we knew we could do what we do for a living now when we were kids, we wouldn't want to be an astronaut or, police officer, firefighter. It's like, we want to do this because this is a dream. This is the greatest job in the greatest industry that anybody could ask for. So we're very fortunate. And I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it is passion that really drives a lot of success in this industry, and it drives the products, that make this industry great as well. Our company is, it's called Trailblazer Firearms. And we originally started with this little Lifeguard 22, which I don't know if it's going to show up in the camera, but
there you go.
It's a little credit card 22 that allows you to fold it up. And then you have a full, single shot 22 handgun that actually has really great ergonomics on it. And so it folds up, it'll fit inside of the jean pocket or the change pocket of your jeans rather. And we say it's the last gun you'll ever leave behind, but this is how the whole company started, was with this single shot credit card 22. And this is, what we kind of strive for, what's something that has never been known in the industry, but has some, really useful tendencies to it. And then we have fun with it. We've recently released it to where, we have it to where it'll take a suppressor on it, which is just kind of like a fun.
Wow, that is amazing.
When I tell people I feel, they're a little bit slimy about the word networking. I think that's what you have to understand about the importance of networking is just having that conversation with people, making those connections and remembering where those connections are, because you may be in a position down the road to help somebody else out when you were the person in need years before. And we understand who we serve in this industry. We understand, we serve sportsmen and sportswomen. We serve those people who have an appreciation for our Second Amendment rights, who love to shoot competitively, but we are chock full of veterans. You can't swing a dead cat at SHOT Show without hitting a veteran somewhere.
That's right.
It is really comfortable, I think, to be able to step into this world where people did speak my language from the military, and it wasn't hard for me to be able to translate some of those skills over. I had what I consider a very easy transition when I retired from the Marine Corps into this job and into this role that I'm doing now. And a lot of that was just because, this is a very welcoming and open community of folks who want to help each other out. But also there are just a lot of veterans who you just may never have any idea. I mean, people who are in marketing departments, people who are engineers, people who are, in finance or, in some of the executive leadership. We look around. I mean, it's not hard to figure out who these people are. And we start to think about some of those people in the upper levels of leadership.
I do want to touch on the NSSF jobs page, because That is a very important tool that I think everyone should know. So anyone that is looking for a job or wants to find people for a job, this is all available to you on the nssf.org site / or / whichever that is, jobs. It's on the bottom of the page. You can click right on it.
Yeah, even if you just go to nssf.org, you can navigate right from there to jobs. And you're right. It's awesome for the industry, for those looking for a job and for those looking to fill a position. We post our jobs on there. A lot of companies do. There's a lot of options in how you can post your position. And we get a lot of stats on, visits to that site and so forth. You can, even if you're looking for a job, you can load your resume so that, any company looking can make a match. And, if you're a member, the cost to do that posting is discounted. So, I think it's a great resource. I totally agree with you. And we've got a lot of positive feedback from that. I'm glad that we have that for our industry to fill jobs and find jobs.
From where we started to where we are now, we have come a very long way. We are increasingly the first place that policymakers on the Hill turn to for information, for help, and we're engaging with them all the time on policy issues, on legislation. Suggesting changes or helping to write legislation or explain why legislation is a bad idea or a good idea, depending on the case. And that's not just on sort of the traditional gun control issues like assault weapons bans, the so-called assault weapons, but things that affect conservation policy, Fish and Wildlife Service.
That's a good,
things that, people don't read about on a daily basis, like export controls and import issues, things along those lines, tax issues, particularly related to excise tax and funds conservation. I will just say that Political Action Committee is a very important tool and part of the overall NSSF government relations strategy, and it is. And I'm very proud of the growth that the PAC has experienced.
I always stressed that your best teams are your most diverse teams, and diversity from a skill set. And we learned how to play off of one another. We knew each other's moves, tag teamed at trade shows and customer meetings. I would say from a hiring standpoint or accepting a job standpoint is to never rush it. If you make the wrong hire, you're going to regret it 60, 90 days. If you accept the wrong job, you're probably going to be unhappy and eventually become miserable.
I'd be interested to know if you started things over again and if you could look back and if you knew what you knew now, do you have any advice for those people?
I would say from a hiring standpoint, I'm kind of the guy that likes to roll the dice and sometimes gamble. If you lined up 3 candidates and just to say I worked in ammunition, and I had 3 candidates, 2 that worked in ammunition and 1 that did not, I don't necessarily look at, their last couple jobs. Are they coachable? Do they listen? Is it someone that you want to put in front of a customer? Are they dedicated? Are they going to take the time to learn and go that extra? That's the type of person that I look for.
Yeah. So Silencer Shop is the nation's largest NFA distributor. We work as an agent between customers making their firearms quieter and getting their applications as fast and efficiently as possible through the ATF. So we have a network of kiosks and awesome powered by dealers around the country, thousands of them in 42 states, where people can go in, use our kiosk, get all their information on file, and then shop for silencers as if they're buying something on Amazon. But what's really cool about us, because we have this giant e-com focus, right, where you can buy any major, high performing silencer on silencershop.com. Every purchase that you do for a serialized item goes straight back to your local gun store. So if you buy a silencer on silencershop.com, right, and you select, White Birch Armory is going to get a cut of that sale as if they sold that exact thing in their storefront, not a sliver of it, but as if they sold it in their storefront.
Wow. What are their traits you look for or the culture you're building there?
Yeah, we're trying to find a good blend of, people that are professional, but also, pull triggers And so there's an element of that in everything we do. We are a firearms centric culture company, if that's such a term. These guys, we shoot a lot here, and I shoot less than I ever have, which is kind of embarrassing. But this is what the guys talk about. This is what we do. And, we still enjoy it after all these years. And, we enjoy being in the industry. We enjoy the people from the industry. And, I said to John, some years ago, I'm like, man, someday we're going to be the old dogs. And now we are.
We are.
But yeah, I mean, we have a great group of guys. It's weird for me because I've worked from home for almost 20 years. And so now I'm going back into the office. I think it's a little bit more of a culture shock for my pup, who's alongside me, because she's used to getting out first thing in the morning and hiking. But yeah, I mean, we bring our dogs to work, we eat together, we do a lot of things together, and it makes it very, very easy to solve problems together.
You have a very active, powerful social media presence.
Yeah, we have a pretty good. It's actually the funnest part of the job. So Ray Cashtier, our Chief Communications Officer, he's a former Navy SEAL. Oh, I didn't mention that. So we've brought in a lot of special operators. Basically, our leadership team is made up of either special operators or defense executives. So we have Marine Corps Scout snipers, we have Navy SEALs, we have Recon Marines, on and on and on. But no, Ray runs all of our social media stuff. And I would welcome anyone to check out our website, watchtowerfirearms.com. Please browse through it. We have a lot of stuff coming. When you first come on the website, you have an opportunity to join our tribe. I would encourage you to do that.
I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that when we're off the phone or off the video.
I've set up a video to welcome everybody to the tribe, and we're giving some fairly good discounts to people who are part of the tribe that are coming on board. So I would encourage people to do that.
So, being in the Midwest, flyover state, for some people, they see that as a negative. Really, it's a strong suit. The culture that we have, the values that we have, both individually and collectively as a company, is really firmed up being where we're located.
Yeah.
The most important thing to do, and I think this is where B5 shines really, really well, is two things. One is to set yourself up for success right now. To plant the seeds you need to plant, be with the partners you want to be with, have on the OEM side, have the conversations with the manufacturers that you want to have, develop those relationships. And we have, again, when the industry is slow in sales across the board for everybody, that's to your point, when you want to invest in yourself, you want to invest in your partners, right? Your relationships, again, through all your sales channels, and just make sure you're primed and ready to go once it picks back up, because it will eventually.
We try to create opportunities for new companies to gain entry into the market, because I know that before we expanded to Caesars Forum, we had a wait list of over 1,000 companies. And the average wait was about 3 years. Sometimes it was longer. So then when we would contact those companies finally, oftentimes we'd find a number had been disconnected, or they were no longer in business. They either ran out of interest or ran out of money.
Right.
Trying to get exposure in the market. So that's why we were so aggressive in expanding to Caesars. We were the first show to sign up before they ever put a piece of steel on the ground, just based off the renderings, the relationship we had with Caesars, and the physical proximity to the Venetian Expo.
We all have way more in common with each other than we do sometimes with the rest of the world, right? And so, our family support of the Second Amendment, conservation, just hunting and shooting in general, we do it because we love it, honestly.
Yeah.
We're very proud of the way we treat our folks at Hodgdon RCBS. And so, as a company, we profit share, right? And so you get some skin in the game day one as an employee, and a couple times a year if we're profitable and if times are good, we give that back to you as an employee. From there, we treat people how we would want to be treated. And Hodgdon has kind of a mission behind that. And I'd encourage folks to check out our website, hodgdon.com, and read that full mission. But we say that people are more important than dollars, right? And so that's backed up with our commitment to, healthcare benefits, PTO. I mentioned the profit sharing. And so we think it's a great place to work and a great company to work for. beyond that, as a company, I'm really proud of the fact that we tithe, right? So we give 10% of our profits back to God, back to the nonprofit community, and back to the communities that we operate, which is a great impact that I think we're able to have on the world.
I'm happy to talk about anybody who will listen about, the great engineering team we have here at Bauxite Consulting and the services that we offer our clients. We really do have the best industry and the best clients to work with. And those are the firearms manufacturers here, domestically in the US. And basically the program or the thought behind this subscription program is that we're an engineering company first and foremost. We want to help create the best firearms products, whether that's pistols, rifles, machine guns, shotguns, silencers, or some sort of package of accessories and ammunition. That's really our main charter, is to develop next generation level platforms for our clients who are going into manufacturing to make these, with the little twist that we're really focused on the end user. And the idea is the subscription is that if we have a company who wants to develop a product like this, maybe they're not ready to develop the whole product or commit to what it takes to build the entire firearm or go through the whole process, but they want us to be on hand to help them develop their products. It's a monthly payment or a monthly subscription. Our engineers are basically on standby, and not just the engineering team, our equipment, such as high-speed cameras or radar or ballistics equipment or whatever it is. We're here to support them, even if they only need a little bit every month, but we're here to support them as they go through the development process.
Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to follow us on our social media channels. And hopefully you've subscribed on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts or any other place you find your podcasts. And also YouTube. I hope you'll subscribe on there. We have some great guests planned for 2025, and you will not want to miss the first couple podcasts of the year. We're really excited about that. So thank you again for following us. I hope you enjoyed the highlight reel for 2024. Thanks again from Headhunters Northwest Podcast.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Headhunters Northwest Podcast. Specialized recruiting, specialized approach. You can reach out at headhuntersnw.com or call 605-600-1709. Join us again next week as we look behind the curtain into the global defense, small arms, and shooting sectors. Headhunters Northwest, finding you the best heads for business.